Hi, I'm Lily Jonathan, and I chose to discuss the Setting Boundaries in Relationships podcast by David and Lindsay Puter. Why I chose this topic. I chose this topic because it was something I wanted to learn more about. I've always been the type of person who doesn't set boundaries well with any relationship I'm in, that being romantic or even platonic. By choosing this topic, I wanted to gain more insight on boundaries and how to set them, as well as benefits that come with setting certain boundaries. I also knew that by learning more about this topic, it could probably help me maintain healthy relationships with those around me. Interesting idea. A new idea that I found interesting is that you can either be high trait agreeableness or high trait disagreeableness. Basically, what this is that in the 5 personality traits, there are these 2 traits that you can be. People who are high trait agreeableness are those who value relationships tremendously and tend to do things out of wanting to maintain relationships. These people are very trusting and generous people. High trait agreeableness is most common in women, and because of this, they may have a harder time setting and keeping boundaries with people. In return, this causes anger and frustration within themselves that they can't quite express openly, which then turns into more anger and irritation, which can bottle up and can turn to their body, which causes physical pain such as head and body aches. These people are also likely very empathetic and have good hearts and able to feel other people's emotions and genuinely want to help others. On the other hand, there are people who are high trait disagreeableness. These individuals are very good at setting boundaries, since they have them naturally, and will easily tell you what they like and what they don't like. They have less empathy than someone with high trait agreeableness, a higher hostility, and are a bit more condescending and distrustful. It's actually very interesting, because this podcast also mentions that high trait disagreeableness is predominantly found in men, though this isn't always the case, as some men are high in agreeableness, while women can still be high in disagreeableness. These individuals are just very clear on their boundaries and will set them really, really easily with no problems. Why is this interesting? I find this really interesting because it gives me a better understanding of the different types of people when it comes to boundaries, and also what to look out for, so I could potentially help others and myself with either setting boundaries or helping them experience a little more empathy, because those who have high trait disagreeableness can benefit from learning to kind of empathize with others a little more. What I think of differently. Something that I think differently about after listening to the podcast is how positive reinforcement can go a long way in helping with setting boundaries. I always just thought that experience with certain things and life will help with setting boundaries after learning through those experiences, which, yes, this can definitely help, but staying positive and uplifting yourself can help tremendously. Being able to let yourself take a step back and analyze certain situations before responding and telling yourself and others, can I get back to you on that at a later time, after feeling comfortable enough to do so, is pretty much life-changing if you struggle with boundaries. Also, in week 5, chapter 6, we learned that continuous reinforcement is one of the quickest ways to teach someone behavior. This is crucial if you want to eventually get better with boundaries, because you need to have a good foundation and safe space to be able to set and maintain them. Lingering question. My lingering question is, why are women most likely high trait agreeableness while men are high trait disagreeableness? After doing some digging, I came across a source that answers my question. One of the reasons this source mentions is the social expectations that society has set for both men and women. For example, women have spent more time connecting with others, which gave high levels of interpersonal traits such as empathy, compassion, nurturing, etc., which align more with agreeableness. Society has set forth roles for men and women, which lead to certain expectations on how each gender should act and carry themselves. And here is my source. Future career nursing. The information presented in the podcast can help me with my future career by being able to set emotional boundaries with patients and families that I may encounter. Being in nursing, you never know the challenges you may see others going through, and being able to sympathize with others while also not getting too emotional is very important in keeping things professional and goal striking. Another way this can help is also setting boundaries with coworkers. I feel like this is very important to separate personal life and work life. And while in an environment where you have to be professional, it's crucial to set certain boundaries so it doesn't interfere with my ability to work efficiently. Thank you.